Hello, Beast Poker here. I am going to be talking about tournament play because as a cash game player, I just dipped my toes in the water at a tournament and I had a good time. This was at the Resorts World Poker Atlas Tour title event. I cashed one bullet. First bullet I fired in, I don't know, 8 months because I just play cash. And I cashed, and it's a very different game than cash game. I think so. I've been playing poker about 4 years now. Started with like small stakes, really small stakes tournaments at South Point, playing the $60, $100, 150 buy-ins, maybe the occasional $400 buy-in. I did take a big win. I guess I split first prize in a Venetian $400 deep stack 2 years ago for 20K. But I think that was kind of a lucky hot run where I just played out of my mind. And then I ran cold and I couldn't handle the tournament variance, so I went to cash and I decided I was going to drill cash really hard. And I did, and my preflop game became super clean, then my flop game, and then now I really enjoy the exploitative play and the adjustments you make in a cash game, and I'm a winning cash game player. Eventually I'll go through my winnings, but it is something I really enjoy, but I played a tournament, had fun, and now I want to go for the glory again and play some more tournaments. So I have a strategy. It's March 11th, and the WSOP is in June, July. My strategy is to drill pre-flop the same way I drilled it for cash. And pre-flop play is really different at every big blind level 40, 30, 25, 20, 15, 12. They're all different strategies. So, I kind of know 100 big blinds and I know 200 big blinds, more or less. But this would require me to learn right here. I'll say 6 different levels of big blind. And I'm going to start with 40 big blinds because I know 100 cash game, and that'll be the closest to the 100 glass cash game preflop charts. And I'm going to compare them to the cash game charts. So we'll see if my preparation works for the WSOP. Um, who knows? I'm not a tournament player. Maybe I just stink, but I'm going to approach it the same way I did cash games. So I'm still on pokercoaching.com, and I'm going to go through them and show the ranges. Um, we'll start with just raise first in. What's the difference? There's definitely more offsuit Broadway, like King 10 offsuit, King Jack offsuit. That's raised a lot earlier and more frequently. Cutoff and button now also raise more offsuit aces like Ace 5, Ace 4, Ace 3. In deep stack cash, you don't really do that because you're dominated quite often. And then fewer lower pocket pair suited connectors, which are hands I make a lot of money on when I spike a set or a straight or something like that. You just don't have the odds here to play those hands the same way. Let's go through poker coaching. And we got 40 big blinds, under gun, raise. All of this stuff right here would be folded, and you would be maybe playing some of this stuff. It's not too different. Let's go to hijack. Now you already have King 9 off, raising from the hijack. That's just not heard of in cash games, deep stack especially. All this stuff is still folded. Maybe 5-4 would be played cash game. Cut off the nines, and then all the way down to ace 5 at a cutoff. That's unheard of. Deep stack cash. And then let's check out the button. Button all the way, all aces. Pretty wide range here. So it's not going to be that hard to learn that. But these burst raises and big blind, small blind positions are quite different. In position for his raise, fortunately, it's quite similar. You don't have an open shoving because that starts at lower stacks. And ranges are still relatively polar. So let's go back here. Button versus raise. Under the gun. So you got the aces, ace, king, kings for value, queens, jacks for value. They choose king 9 and 9, ace 9 and ace 8 suited, and queen 8 suited as a bluff. Cash game might choose a couple different hands, but it'll be in this area, maybe ace 5, ace 4. Here's the bluffs. As we go down, as we go against openers that are later, it's still polar. So there's still polar raises here. kind of similar to cash game. So that's good to know. When I drill these ranges with my preflop trainer, I can go off of this video, and this video is going to help me. I don't know. I have 4 followers, so I don't care about you guys. I care about myself. I'm doing this so that I'm learning and I can reference this video. This is where things start to change. Big blinds versus raises are quite different than deep stack cash. I'm not even going to bring up those charts because I don't want to move these around too much. But let's see. There's almost no bluffs here. Big blind's always calling any suited hand. And they're also calling a lot of offsuit ace, offsuit king. I didn't realize that. That's something that I did not know. You can call a lot of offsuit ace and king. Tight linear 3-betting against middle position. Okay, so this is something new. So when I'm drilling the ranges, I got to know that big blind does start to shove at 40 big blinds deep. When you're in a tournament, that sounds insane because 40 big blinds, you don't need to do anything dumb, but apparently shoving nines, jack 10, and king 9 suited is the right play. You still have the tight linear 3-betting range, but you have shoving ranges. And then the cutoff versus raise. So you have vulnerable hands, ace, queen off, 10, 9, 9th, 8th, 4s. I guess this is kind of a bluff. And then a linear 3-betting range. So that's really interesting to see. Shoving starts there, events middle late position with vulnerable hands, and you're still tight linear 3-betting. So it's almost like you take calls and turn them into shoves. You don't take any of the 3-bet hands and turn them into shoves. And then let's go to the small blind. So go back up to under the gun. And so small blind is shoving against every single position. Let's see if they do it against under the gun. There is a shove everywhere from the small blind, but it plays very similar to the big blind. In deep stack cash, maybe not as much calling. There's a lot of calling in the small blind, and then you have the shoving with the same sort of vulnerable hands: ace, king off, king, queen, jack, 10s, 9s, king 10. Those are bluffs, I guess. And you still have the same linear 3-betting strategy. So these are for value. This is for protection, I guess. And then versus the button. So you're shoving a lot. You're 3-betting a lot. And you're calling still quite a bit. So you know what? I'm visualizing these ranges. They're not something that I know. I will drill it on that one app that I actually reviewed in one of my videos about the GTO preflop trainer, the green one, which is quite good, and that's been helping me out. I use that as a warm-up. So this is for me. This might be for you. If you want a heuristic, I'm going to create the 30 big blind and the 25 big blind and the 20 big blind later on. Once I feel really, really comfortable, once I've turned this A game work, which is this new stuff, I've turned it into C game work by drilling it for a long time. And then I'm going to start playing some online tournaments, really, really small buy-ins just to drill it. I don't have enough time right now to play in-person tournaments. And if I'm playing in person, I'd rather play cash right now. And then I'll maybe do some tournaments once I feel really comfortable with these, right before the WSOP. And then maybe take my shot at glory. So I hope this helps you. It helps me. Take care.